Hello, and welcome to a new segment 2013 of the Vita Show. My name is Navita2013a, and I am the host for this show. It has been a while since I have been talking to everyone out here. A lot has been going on, but we have formed a new partnership with Styles and Miss Dorothy Petway, whom I would like to bring on. Styles and Profile is who we have partnered with Miss Dorothy Petway. And in fact, since this is the first show of our 2013 year, I would actually like to have Miss Petway come on and join me on camera so that we can do a little girl talk, catching up, and all of that. Miss Petway?
Okay. Well, hello, Davida.
Hi.
It's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while, but I've always enjoyed and always loved being with you.
Yes, it has been just a lot has been taking place since I last, let's see, when did I think it was 3 years ago that I last did my last Vita show on cable channel 19, and we have just really have been going through a lot of transitions. I'm still involved though with the Cervical Cancer Coalition of Tennessee, as I am a cervical cancer survivor, and a lot has been going on with that genre as well.
Okay, so you cervical cancer. Now, what's the name of the company that
It's the nonprofit that I founded over 14 plus years ago is the Cervical Cancer Coalition of Tennessee. Now we may be going through a name change. We are also looking at that, but a lot of people will still know us as the Cervical Cancer Coalition of Tennessee. You can also find our website at www.cervicalcancercoalition.org, which is all one word, and that'll tell you more about that part of my life that I am still involved in.
Okay, now say that again.
www.cervicalcancercoalition, all one word.org.
Okay. So, but you know, it's a lot of people that have had cervical cancer, but they don't like to talk about it. It's called the female operation. Women don't like to talk about that, but I had it when I was real young. I said, and when I was 26 years old, and that's when I went to the hospital and had surgery. But from then on, I had 4 sons, and they said, go home and have 1 more baby. And I said, I've had enough. I thought I was going to die. I never thought that I would be living to 71. I really did. And it was so painful. Nobody never knew the pain you were in because I still skated and danced.
Well, what stage were you at when you had Joseph?
You know what? I can't even remember the stage.
Yeah, but I was stage 2. I had stage 2.
And I know they talked about the stage.
Yeah.
I think I was 20. Yeah, I was 26 years old.
That was young.
It was, and you know, you don't think about it, but they said that it was in my. You know, I know women don't like for it to go into all the parts of your organs that it was in. You know,
I have no trouble with that now. In fact, I shock a lot of women. But I wanted to also state that July is National Health Month. So it's really good that our Girl Talk is now kind of gravitating toward a health subject, and especially one such as cervical cancer, because you would think we would have beaten this by now because it's very curable. They got, Gardasil got the HPV vaccine out here, not only for girls, but now for boys, but it's still out here.
I know, well, people don't go and find out in time. You know, they'll just have the bad pain, you know, and the overbleed spell, you know, stuff like that, and the cramps. But a lot of times they won't go and see about, you know, they won't go.
But see, a lot of times too, when they have those symptoms, it's in a later stages, because usually with cervical cancer, there's no symptoms. You don't feel anything. Because I had stage 2 cervical cancer. I didn't feel anything. I felt great. My OBGYN doctor actually discovered it. He found a spot on my cervix, and
Okay.
he did something called a biopsy. And getting a little technical, that is when they take a piece of that tissue and send it out to a lab for people to look at and test on. And
Okay.
like it came back positive that I actually had full-blown cervical cancer.
Oh, okay.
And the treatment was like 28 days of radiation. I had to go into the hospital, oh my goodness, twice for 3 days each for a cesium implant. And that was a whole journey
Oh,
in
okay.
itself.
Well, what I had, they didn't find out, but I kept having a lot of pain, a lot of bleeding. And they
Yeah,
kept
that meant
treating
you
me for
had
that.
stage 3
They kept
probably.
treating me and sending me back home, and just saying it wasn't it. And then one time I went back, and then that's when this doctor, they found out that what it was, and then the pain was so great, so.
But what's
They said
good,
that-
you were young.
Yeah,
Very
and
young.
then they said that they were going to, okay, so then they started running tests, and then after they ran tests, and then they didn't let me out of the hospital that time. They told me to go home and come back. They told me what they had found after they ran all the tests and everything, and they kept me a few days. And so they said that it was too far to give the radiation treatments and stuff like that.
So what did they gave you then chemo? You got
No, they didn't give me chemo. They went on and just gave
A
me
hysterectomy.
hysterectomy. They said because it was all in it's set up in my
Lymph nodes
and
nodes,
everything.
yeah.
So they went on.
You
and
had
did
probably
hysterectomy.
close to stage 4 when they
Okay.
start talking
Mhm.
that, and especially when you started having symptoms.
Yeah.
Because usually when symptoms start occurring, it's in a later stage.
Okay.
But thank God that they did
Yeah.
detect it. And I was so kind of surprised they didn't still offer radiation just to make sure they got all.
Yeah, but they, you know what? At first they said they were going to, and then after the doctors talked to me, they had told my mother and everything that they were going to. I had to,
Uh-huh.
and so I said, you know what I said? My mother said, "But God." I didn't believe in God and Jesus back during that time, even though they had to say my mother had to pray hard for me,
Yes.
And but God, because what they said, they even said I might not even live because it might be done spread and everything.
Mm.
That's why I said I never thought I would make it to 71. But God, we
But
don't never
God.
know.
He
We
was
don't
in
never
control.
know. Really. And you know what? It took me a long time to get started again. It took me about 2 or 3 years. I stayed real weak. and
I was
stuff
going
like
to
that.
ask you, how did you
Yeah.
feel when you first found out that you had cervical cancer?
Well, you know what? It didn't scare me like some people always feel like dying. And I've never had that great fear of dying. People get mad at me now because they always talk about, my mother used to tell us about the mansion in the sky with the 1,000 rooms. I said, well, maybe this is not the world for me. I wasn't having no good life, no way. Going through it, bad husbands, having babies, and bad boyfriends.
Oh, that's a whole
Not
nother
enough
talk
money.
show.
You know, my mother and father, we had everything. They gave us everything that we needed.
Yeah.
But just being greedy and wanting more, this ain't the world for me. This life, I couldn't control this world. That's what I felt
Yeah.
like. But and I said, it really didn't scare me that bad. And it don't scare me now, especially if my mother prayed so hard. And I done started reading the Bible for myself, and I said, I know this is not our home, and we have to be prepared. But a lot of people don't like to talk to me and say, you trying to kill everybody off? I don't want to talk about dying and going home. I want to live forever. But you better start studying your Bible because we're not going to be
We're
here
not
forever.
here.
This is not our
this
home.
time.
That's right.
Now when
Not
Jesus come back,
That's right.
and that's when.
And
but
then I think about my home and my mansion, no more pain, no more suffering.
yeah.
But no, I don't want to start that on your show. I want you to come on and then talk
But
about
that's
it.
what
It was really something because for 2 or 3 years I was so weak. And it seemed like I just wasn't gonna make it. And I stayed going back and forth to the doctor, and then I had a
And
black
how
doctor,
old were
that
your
Dr.
kids?
Walker. This was at Vanderbilt. My baby, let me see. My baby was, let me see. I think Donald was about 6 months old when they found it.
6 months.
6 months
That was
old.
a baby.
Yeah, he was a baby. But I had 3 older ones when they
Okay.
found it. Yeah. And so I got because I was a licensed cosmetologist. I had my own beauty shop. My mother went and started fixing hair in the beauty shop to save my beauty shop. because she was just a jack of all trades. She could just do anything. When I tell you, a powerful, wonderful mother, and when she used to pray for me, I said, quit praying for me, go pray for somebody else before you give me an ulcer, you know, stuff. But I'm so glad she prayed, because it changed my life around.
And you said your doctor was...
Well, they were at Vanderbilt, just at Vanderbilt.
At Vanderbilt.
But then I started staying some weeks, I started going to Dr. C.J. Walker, and he was a great doctor on Jefferson Street.
On Jefferson Street, sure.
He said, it's nothing the matter with you. You shouldn't have had the surgery so young. I told you that sometimes little spots show up, you know, and I mean, I could.
So he was fussing at you.
Yeah, he was fussing. He said, you don't need, he said, too many young people, you were too young for that surgery. And I mean, he really was. And I kept going to him, and he kept telling, you know, and then finally he stopped making me take hormones. I didn't want to take hormones. So he started making me take hormones. And he said, because you got to get strong again, you got to put back what they took away.
What they took away.
And so he said that he had tested that little spot that I had, and he didn't feel like that it was going to be to the length where I would have.
He figured your body was going to take care.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
And you know, and I confided in him, and I got so much better and so much stronger, and got, well, like I said, but God, and listened to my mother pray and tell me everything was going to be all right. Then I got wild and crazy again, and you know, I forgot.
But you know, we're human, and our life is a journey, and sometimes I'm now calling it a pure adventure.
Yeah, it was.
And some adventures are good, some adventures are not so good, but God says that all works to His glory and good.
And that's
even some of the worst and low points in our life. I was just at Ella Cafe today, lunch, and ran into a gentleman that was enlightening me more about what this book that God gave us called the Bible really tells us about how we're supposed to live our life. And of course we ignore it, you know.
No, but you know what I don't now, because I said people don't know what the BIBLE means. Basic instructions before leaving earth. They want to go and ask their ministers. You know what? I don't believe in talking to psychiatrists. People get mad at me. I don't believe it. I used to talk to my mother and father a lot. Whenever I have a problem, I wouldn't go to my minister to talk. If I can't talk to God and Jesus, get in my apartment by myself, and they laughed at me because they said, God and Jesus not in your apartment. He's in my heart. He's in everywhere. I can get in there and I can pray and talk and cry. I don't like to cry on nobody either. And I tell my sons, if your marriage is your relationships, you don't go trying to talk to this friend or that friend. You don't talk to them. You got to get the person that you're into it with, and if you can't get them to talk to you with that Bible, now this haven't always been this has been in my later life. In my earlier life, I used to like go talk to my girlfriends, and this guy done this, or go talk to this friend. Nobody gives you good advice, but and they say God and Jesus don't talk to you, but like I tell a lot of people, they say, well, God and Jesus told me, He put it in my heart. He don't talk to me face to face. But He will guide you and direct you. Him and they will. You talk to our Father God and His Son, Jesus. I get so much comfort in my apartment. We're here now at the beautiful Argyle Senior Living. And I get so much comfort when I read the Bible. And I got 2 deacons that I can go and talk to. But I tell them, I get in there and I talk. If you can't sit down with the Bible and talk to your wife, it's no need to go into your minister or your pastor.
But you know, you cannot beat yourself up, and we have to be careful not to get angry with other people that may not have arrived where we're at, because really I was taught all my life that you have a problem, you go talk to your minister, you go talk to your
minister. I know it. My mother instilled that.
Yeah, and so. And as I got, like I said, younger, with young folks, it's a whole new set of things going on, and we do run to talk to our girlfriends and to sometimes our friends that are men, trying to like just understand what kind of mess we've gotten ourselves in. But as we mature, and I think that's what maturity is all about too, is that you don't stay in that same place of where you were when you were in your teens, your pre-teens, your young adulthood and all that. You are forever progressing and learning as you go. Because now, I am 58 years old, and how I think now is much different than even 10 years ago. And don't even want to talk about 20 years ago. I was not thinking or learning to think the way that I'm thinking now. And it just takes, I guess it is a process, but especially what I find myself that me at this age, when I'm looking at my daughter or some other young people, and I see some things that I'm like, ooh, I made the same mistake. You know, come on, don't do that, don't do that. I'm trying to tell you that.
Yeah.
But she still has to walk that walk sometime.
And you know, 58, when I was 58, I always watch you. You're so, you're just so calm and so sweet. At 58, I was still just as hyper, but I'm telling, if you don't want to hear it again, sometimes you tell your pastor or your deacons or something, and when you hear it again, you want to go and get so mad, you want to tear the church down, you want to get, but if you keep it to yourself, I know they say you go to church and testify. I never get up and testify. Like I said, I always had my mother to talk to and my father. Yes. I got a lot of advice for them. And the person didn't want to listen to them until I started listening to my mother and my father. That's when I found out I had really gained wisdom and knowledge and got some sense. That's when I was about 60 years old. Talking about growing up, here come my baby sister Beulah.
Yes.
Now you gotta walk on, and then you're gonna take my seat and I'm gonna pass. And Beulah's gonna talk something about how great our mother and father was. This is my baby sister Beulah and her Davida. They are red hat sisters. So I want them, my baby sister Beulah, to sit down and I'm gonna walk off
Come
a minute.
on, Miss Beulah. See, you never know what you walk into.
Let's talk something.
Life is just, well, tell our listening audience a little bit about who you are.
Well, they know who I am. Look, they see me all the time on the show.
Yeah.
I'm Beulah, and
You're the co-host of Styles and Profiles.
Styles and Profiles, and sister, redhead sister of Navita, and real sister of Dorothy's. And I'm here today to support the cause.
Oh, well, see, today, Dorothy was letting me kind of reintroduce the Vita show.
Okay.
In partnership with Styles and Profiles.
Okay.
And this is what is going on right now. And so we were kind of doing girl talk. And see, this July is National Health Month.
Okay.
So we started talking about our cervical cancer experience. And I think you had an experience with that as well. Can you tell the audience, if you don't mind, a little bit about when you were diagnosed and how you felt when that happened? What, if you don't mind, the age and everything?
Girl, so long ago, I don't remember the age. But I had to go to several doctors. I wasn't diagnosed. I kind of diagnosed myself.
Wow.
Because I looked up the symptoms and the pains that I was having.
So you were actually having symptoms?
Yeah. And finally I found a doctor at Meharry that listened to me and gave me some tests and ran some tests and said, after doing the results came back that I did have cervical cancer. So, and of course he removed them, and it's been over 20 years ago, and I've been cervical cancer free since.
But I think that is something to take note of, is that our bodies really do let us know when something is wrong if you will pay attention to your body. But a lot of times when we're growing up, at least it was with me, a lot of times we were taught to be ashamed of our bodies. Don't touch it, don't learn about it, but yet it's right here.
And the female operation was a no-no back in the day, back when I was 26.
That was taboo. Talk about anything female. You could not even go to your church and talk about anything female. Even to the mothers of the church, it's like when you would start, they would say a little bit, and it's like, but most of the time they would warn you, no, let's not talk about that. We don't need to talk. Why don't you need to talk about that?
Just like men need to talk about prostrate.
Yes, they
And
do.
check this up, it's coming. You know, they need to talk about that.
And really, if you want to go back in the Bible, Genesis, Adam and Eve, they were naked. God walked with them in the cool of the day. Every day, did not bring up nothing about them being naked or anything sinful. It became sinful when that serpent
That's right.
had
Convince her to eat
Introduced them to the tree.
It was, you know, that
more
was
knowledge.
That's right. Introduced them to the tree of knowledge.
God, if she ate from the tree of knowledge.
And
But you know, even years ago, a lady couldn't even be pregnant on TV. You know, if he was doing the news and she was pregnant, they would cut her off.
yes,
If it was a movie star in a movie, they would cut her off. Like it was shameful.
No pajamas,
Be
no
pregnant.
lingerie. I know, and then no pajamas.
well,
or
you know,
lingerie.
even doing that, I remember the Lucy show.
Yes.
And when they would show the bedroom scenes, they were in two separate beds.
Yeah, that's right.
And I didn't think
Even
none of
Doris
that-
Day.
Yeah, Doris Day.
Mhm.
And I never did think anything of it, but back then it was a no-no to even show a husband and wife together in a bed, like it was something taboo and
No hugging and kissing.
no hugging and kissing. They couldn't do any of that. And I'm like, okay, y'all are taking a natural situation and making it unnatural, therefore making people ashamed of doing that. And we really got a lot of myths and a lot of what do they call it, conditioning that needs to be addressed.
And a lot of uncontrolled sicknesses that they don't want to put out. Like the young lady went and had her breasts removed to try to, you know, they really talking about that she never should
Breast
have.
cancer, yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
never
jumped the gun.
Because
She
I work
jumped
with
the gun.
breast cancer awareness too, but she said Brad Pitt said he tell his children everything, and now they said that's taboo. They shouldn't tell their children nothing, you know. But they're not old enough to know nothing. But you got to let a parent feel like however they feel like run their lives with their children.
That's right.
You can't interfere
Well,
because
it's
they're gonna do
better
it
to
anyway.
know about it from home than from the street.
Won't they take off everybody? Once she did it, everybody's gonna tell the children.
Yeah, and see,
Everything.
and a lot of times that street knowledge where I got a lot of my knowledge from is not the correct
No,
knowledge.
the man was all wrong.
It's all messed up, and they even garnish it, they embellish it, and sometimes they intentionally put some wrong stuff in there, depending on their agenda. You know, so it's like, to me, you're supposed to get all your first knowledge from your parents, but that takes us back to like a lot of parenting, broken homes, or the parents were parented in a way that no, you don't tell your children everything, or it's like, you know, you tell your children, do as I said, don't do as I do. And I'm like, I had to get in an argument with that with my son-in-law, really talking about, but he got it from his father. And I'm like, it was wrong then and it's wrong now. God said you lead by example.
And I used to tell my sons the same thing, because that's what Daddy used to tell
That's
me.
what I was
wanted to bully him
told too.
I wanted to bully my sons, you know.
Yeah.
Don't ask me this. When I tell you do something, you do it because I said
Because
something.
I
You know,
said
that's
so,
right.
and I started.
But that's the way we
doing
were
that.
brought up, because
That's
I
the way we
said
were
that's
brought
right.
up.
I
Yeah.
said because I said so, you know. My
But if
was
we go
told-
in the Bible, that's nowhere in the Bible.
Mhm.
What it says about, yes, sons and daughters obey your mother and father, but it also says mother and father do not provoke your children.
That's right.
And do you know a lot of preachers won't preach on that?
No. And I know
Because
I provoke
I think it's too deep for them to saying, oh, well, why, you know, those are God's children.
That's
that
right.
He
Once
allowed
they
you
get
to have.
18, once He let you have them to 18, once they're 18, they go back, they belong to Him.
Yeah.
But we still, if we live and we here on earth, to still try to guide them and tell them what to do.
I had same thing, but mine, I thought I was saving my child from some pitfalls that I went through when I really should have been on my knees praying to God. It shouldn't have been an I. It was like, God save you from this, because I have no power at all. I was still struggling with my own issues. Even still to today that I learned out, it's not an I thing.
That's right.
It's a
God
God
thing.
thing.
Well, you know, that show that Cece have it, well, that little thing she have every year about sisters.
Oh, okay.
I had gone to their church and they were having a program about it, and they were kind of nourishing the children. And this lady said in the audience, she said, everybody is nourishing the children. You know, there's all kind of help for the children, but what about the parents?
That's right.
The parents are still having problems. You know what I'm saying? They're still going through stuff, but everybody's helping the children. Okay, if you help the children, then they're still coming back home to messed up parents. It's the, you know,
I
the help
agree
is
with
defeated. You know,
I
it's
agree
defeated
with
because
that.
the parents are still suffering. They still dealing with some of the problems that they had or have while they're trying to raise the children. But everybody's focusing on the children. When you got to get help at the seed, first in the seed is the parent.
Yes.
You know, so they need to have a program for parenting. You know what I mean? To teach, because some people don't know how to be parents.
That to me is set up so wrong. You are so right,
Yeah.
Beulah, because I've always thought, but program is more money
Yeah.
in helping the children. They're talking about they are the future and stuff. Yes, they are the future. But guess what? Something had that future. So that meant they had parents, grandparents, and if the grandparents and parents are not supported correctly, that little seed, the child is going to go back into that household.
Yeah.
Like you said, that's messed up and kind of dysfunctional. Well, they're going to get recontaminated all over again.
Yeah.
And you cannot talk about, oh, well, the child can change the parent. The child can come back and say, not if that parent don't listen.
But sometimes the children don't want to come back to change the parent. They want to come back to whip the parent, you know. And they
Yeah.
accuse mothers. You know, they say, if it ain't one thing, it's your mother. And I said, my baby Donald, he's not no baby no more. He's a big old grown man, fit for that. And every problem he have is his mama. You know,
got the
it's
mother
nothing,
issue.
it's nothing, it's nothing. It's always his mother. Always his mother.
How you ladies doing? You look so cute and everything.
That's my baby sister Beulah.
Really?
And so just turn on around. Here's the Avon lady. Avon come. Hey, Sister Jewel. Come back here, Sister Jewel. You on
I'm
camera.
gonna tell you something.
You on camera.
I'm gonna tell you something. Oh, camera, I'm gone.
This lady here is 90 years old. And let me tell you
Is she
something.
not?
Yes, she is. Walk
I've been
around.
trying to
And so turn around, let the camera see you. She's acting, look. Get up,
Look at
everyone. Come on
this.
back, Jewel, and just have a talk. We're just having a look. We
We just
having
having